5 common content marketing strategy mistakes coming up in this video. Hello everyone, Marc Guberti here, USA Today, Wall Street Journal best-selling author, and a content strategy is so important for growing your business because it's this strategy that really allows you to create content, get in front of the right people, and actually make money with that content. And there's so many moving pieces to a strategy, which is why it's easy to make mistakes. And there's certain mistakes that if you make them can really have a bad impact on your strategy. And you could be putting in so much work only to see that you're not getting results. If you feel like that's you, you're probably making one of these 5 mistakes. Big mistake number 1 is creating content without a purpose. So this is where you just throw a bunch of content out there, hope some of it sticks, hope you get lucky. But that's not how a content strategy works. Remember, it's strategy, and that doesn't just mean creating a ton of content. It means having a purpose for that content. So many people, they don't have that purpose. Now, what can a purpose be for your content that leads to more exposure, leads to more revenue? Well, here's an example. One of the things I like to do on LinkedIn is create a lot of articles around podcasting. I choose that topic on purpose because I'm a podcasting coach. I help people who want to launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts. So I'm not creating a LinkedIn article about blogging, then a LinkedIn article about a social network or something like that. I'm focused on podcasting and also YouTube in a way that relates to podcasting and in a way that can lead to coaching, because that's also something I help people with. But instead of just coming up with an idea and like a random idea generator, whatever pops up in my head next, I know on LinkedIn, I have to focus on podcasting because I'm a podcasting coach, and the content I create on LinkedIn drives more business to that segment of my business because I have a purpose behind the content. Big mistake number 2 is not having a strategy for creating content. So basically all you do is you come up with an idea and then you start hitting the record button, you start writing, but there's not really a plan in place for the content creation, for being able to create that content in a shorter amount of time. Because content creation, it does take time, but an ideal content marketing strategy, it's the marketing that takes more of your time. That's how you actually grow. You don't grow by creating content. Creating content is just the baseline. It's the foundation. There are a lot of people who create content but don't grow. The people who actually grow are the people who are marketing their content, who go out and share the content with their community. They do outreach and different things like that. So if you don't have a content creation strategy in play, it's going to take you longer for creating the content, and then you're not going to have time to actually market it. Big mistake number 3 is inconsistent marketing. And we were kind of talking about this a little earlier, but one of the extra things I want to add to that is some people, after watching this video, you get motivated, you decide I'm going to market my content more when I create it, and it does well for you for a little bit. But then you look at one piece of content you market and it doesn't do as well, and then you kind of feel discouraged and you slow down from marketing that content. And this is what happens to a lot of creatives because there's an emotional side to your content. You want people to see it, and maybe you're used to getting a certain amount, let's say 100 views for a video, and then you do all the marketing, all the same things, and you only get like 50 views or even less. And that can be discouraging. Now, you could do research, figure out why this didn't do as well. Maybe it was a different topic, but the issue for a lot of people out there is when they see that, you know, they don't get as much of a result, they kind of slow down on the marketing and just go back to creating content and not really doing anything to actually create that impact, actually sharing out the content. So some people, what they'll do is they'll do a ton of marketing one day and then no marketing the other day. You got to be marketing your content every single day consistently on your different platforms to make sure it's actually seeing a lot of people. Big mistake number 4 with your content marketing strategy is doing it all by yourself. Earlier, I mentioned I'm a USA Today and Wall Street Journal bestselling author. That happened because I co-wrote a book with over 20 other authors, and we all promoted it together, and we all got other people involved. And the reason my podcast has grown the way it has is because I've had hundreds of guests. I've been able to say, hey, your episode's out. I'd love if you could share it with your community. Same thing with virtual summits, where I've had a bunch of people on the summits. They've shared it to their audience. That's allowed me to grow. So a big mistake people make is they just bunker down, think they got to do everything by themselves, and they're not leveraging other people's audiences. They're not doing collaborations. And one of the things I really love to say is you can only do so much by yourself. You need to get help from other people, and you need a reason for them to collaborate with you. So if you start a podcast and you interview someone, a lot of people are going to jump on board with that. If you partner up with people also, like doing a video with someone on YouTube, or just having people write guest posts on your blog, that's going to have the collaboration. You're going to have more people sharing your content. A lot of people really miss out on that part though. And it's why their content, you hit the same amount of views, you hit the same amount of traffic, but you don't really grow. And it's because you're not doing collaborations. And finally, big mistake number 5 is sticking with the same content marketing strategy. Just because something is working now doesn't mean it's going to keep on working. So you have to stay updated, and you have to keep changing. There were a lot of people who their big strategy was Facebook organic, and it worked for a while until Facebook became more pay to play, and groups are still a great option for playing on Facebook free and building those relationships, but social networks are going to change. Consumer behavior is going to change. So you need to keep up with the trends, look at your own data to see what's working, what's not working, and make adjustments. When I first got started in content marketing, that whole digital marketing thing, I wrote a lot of Twitter-related content. Why? Because my audience loved that kind of content. Now, I'm shifted more towards content marketing because that's based on what my data says is something that you guys enjoy. So if you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe also, but pay attention to how your audience is engaging with your content, how people are engaging on different social networks, and then change your content marketing strategy as you go. Now, one of the mistakes I did mention was the idea that we're spending way too much time creating content and not enough time marketing. A next video on this channel will actually talk about how we can save a ton of time creating content. So if you want to get notified when that video comes out, make sure you subscribe to this channel.